you are an entrepreneur who wants to participate in the tech space, you have to be present, and it's an excruciating process. It's not a simple process. A developer is just there to deliver your product. The developer might not necessarily see your vision. The developer might not necessarily pay attention to the aesthetics of what you want. The developer might not know your audience. You understand? So it's basically you knowing, okay, this product needs to appeal to this kind of audience. This kind of audience is sophisticated to this level. So I need you to build this product so that when this kind of audience sees, then it's a no-brainer for them. You know, otherwise developers watakubuildia tu madokotani pale. I've had a stint in politics. I vied for speaker of our county, great county of Kiti. It didn't go so well, but so many lessons were learned there. And I think in future maybe we'll take another step.
Hi Gerald, thank you for having me and welcome to the Startup Evangelist.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me too here.
Yeah, maybe for the sake of people who would interact with you on this for the first time, just give us a brief on who is Gerald Kiti, the man.
All right. So Gerald Kiti is a lawyer. Is an entrepreneur. Is generally a person who loves progress. But if you want more detail about me, I was born in Mombasa. Mm-hmm. Stayed in Mombasa for several years, maybe 10. When I came to Nairobi, I went to high school here in Nairobi, Mango High School. Then I went to the University of Nairobi. I went to Strathmore University, did my ACCAs. I think that's where we met, right?
Yeah. That was, I think, 2011.
2011,
if
back
I'm not
then.
wrong, yeah. Quite a while.
And then I had a short stint at doing piloting aviation in South Africa. And then I finished my law, then started the law firm after interning at middle-sized law firms. That's when we started the law firm.
Yeah.
I've had a stint in politics. I vied for speaker of our county, great county of Kiti. It didn't go so well, but so many lessons were learned there. And I think in future maybe we'll take another step.
Yeah.
So now I just concentrate on running the law firm and my tech startups, namely Patafile, which is a legal practice management software that helps law firms run their practice more efficiently, including ours. Linkup is a networking application. So go to an event and then you see so many people, you don't know who to network with, or either you leave the event and you've not networked with anyone. So Linkup comes in. We're using AI to power that kind of experience. Yeah, and also some e-commerce platforms like Sokoni and MOBA. So yeah, that's me. That's my life. Law firm, startups, yeah, everything in between.
Yeah. So in that intro, you've mentioned like five organizations. So I'm sure we'll probably spend time on some of them. Yeah. Just to get to and drive out what you've learned and how has it been. Maybe just from your upbringing. For me, I don't believe in accidents. I don't know if was the way you are brought up, enhanced your appeal to be an entrepreneur, or how did you pick this up? Is it something that was encouraged by your parents or your mentors, or how did it sort of shape? How are you shaped?
Yeah, I think in our upbringing, our father always insisted that on us being useful members of the society, of course. But our father is very solution oriented. Mm-hmm. For himself, he was employed at Kenya Ports Authority for 21 years. But even in his employment, he was, pursuing other things on the side, proper real estate and stuff. And so he was pretty much solution oriented. And even when he left his job and things were a bit rough, it is the things that he had started out that really sustained him. Otherwise, things would have gone south real quick. So it's us just looking at that situation. My father left his job and things really got rough financially. But because of his other two small projects, ikamshikilia. So we felt like we needed to have control on the site. And for us, it came as necessity, really, because necessity is the mother of invention. When the going got rough, we were like, now we have to figure out how we'll survive, and that's how we found ourselves in entrepreneurship. My sister, in fact, all my sisters, my siblings are all entrepreneurs, because at that time when things were rough, when my father left work, and we financially it was a bit tricky for us. We had to figure out how to survive. So in campus, you would sell to V2s, here and there, just to make ends meet. And then you realize, you sell, you make a profit. It's working. So you're like, then you do it again, and then it's working. It's sustaining you. Nobody's asking you questions. And then you figure out it can be a lifestyle. So that's how we got into entrepreneurship.
Interesting. So you've mentioned there's the environment in which you're brought up. It was sort of pro solutions, pro new ideas, pro problem solving, which is sort of, you need those, when you're young, you need that encouragement. And then there was also this chip on your shoulder, economic challenges, family, so you had to turn to business to keep you guys going. Maybe just hone a bit further now. Now where you're in high school, campus, are there things that you stumbled upon? You've mentioned you had this opportunity to, study in 2 universities, and then had a stint in aviation, learning aviation. Is that how you sort of were exposed to opportunities around new ideas that are coming around down the pipe? Or maybe just
I studied SCCA in Strathmore. During that time, I interacted with a good amount of people who, growing with them, have ended up in spaces that I can tap into, and it favors my business. Then I came to the University of Nairobi, similar situation. So there are people in my network that join spaces that I can tap into. And then also aviation, I can say as an area of practice, aviation, though there are very few lawyers who've had exposure in the aviation space. And it's something that I have been pursuing slowly, and I think I'll invest a lot more there. So I can say everything that has worked, like connecting the dots in my life, is just playing itself in how I run my business, how I look at opportunities, I pursue them. They just opportunity present themselves like a plate.
And then I'm sure one question someone would ask is, when you're at this stage, you get so many opportunities. So what do you sieve? How do you sieve to say this is something I should focus on? Is it because you have that skill in you, or you have the products that are out there, are not providing value, so it's an area of disruption that you can do? Sort of, how do you now? I'm sure by now they're probably, as an entrepreneur, they're like, every day there are like 100 ideas running on your head. How do you manage to sieve and say, okay, I have 24 hours in a day, let me focus on this?
So I think it's a mix of everything you've said. Like, you pursue an opportunity because you are really good at it, and that in itself will distinguish you. You pursue an opportunity because it's less crowded. Our head high school head teacher used to say, the extra mile is less crowded.
Got it.
So, like as an entrepreneur, of course, you want to be in a room which is less crowded.
Yeah.
So if I see a problem that doesn't have a solution, and I think I have what it takes to solve it, then I know first there'll be barriers of entry for people to try and do it because they don't have the skills. But secondly, in the market, there's very few people doing it. So then that becomes an opportunity right there. So for instance, Spotify, the legal practice management software, I know that for someone to come and try and enter that space, first you need to be a lawyer, which not so many are. And then secondly, you need to understand that tech terrain very well. If you're an outsider who's just a techie and wants to innovate in this space, of course I'll have an edge over you because it's an understanding I have of the legal space. So that's one. And then these other ideas, it's just something is not in the market. I have built up skills in the tech space that I think are useful in me building a tech product, and then I do it. Like Linkup, that's the story of Linkup. There's nothing in the market, and I feel like I have what it takes to put together a team of techies, and we do it, and it happens.
You've mentioned, well, I guess for Patafile, probably you want to just explain what the product does, couple of metrics, how many customers you're serving, just a brief on that, and what has been your learning on that.
Okay. So Patafile is a legal practice management software where I run a law firm. A law firm has many moving parts. You need to manage clients, you need to manage court dates, you need to have online documents, you need to manage your team, you need to manage your finances, you need to assign tasks. There's so many moving parts in running the entity law firm. And without a tool to help you manage that and help the team collaborate, then you lose balance. With just 50 files, unaweza kuwa udahema mbaya sana.
Yes.
So Patafile bridges that gap. Like it brings you together with your entire team. You can put your matters there. You can know the fee notes, which client has not paid, which work is still pending. So you're coordinated as a team. We have many law firms. We are almost getting to 100 law firms using our solution. And I think our differentiator is that it's simple, straightforward, easy to use, and any law firm can plug from anywhere, and they can set themselves up and enjoy the benefits of it.
Interesting. So maybe still on, now that you work in the law space for most of your time, I'd be curious to understand how the network perceives you, because I know almost the legal space is quite risk averse. You're always in the business of discouraging clients from doing this or adding extra paragraphs and language of protection in contracts. So maybe just a bit on how you balance sort of the legal cautious person perspective and now being all out as an entrepreneur. You get what I mean?
You're saying how I balance between...
like for example, you're as a lawyer, you sort of you work with clients who are doing projects, are doing corporate investments, etc. And your role is to mitigate those risks. But at the same time, you are in those spaces, you are seeing opportunities. So
how do I balance that? I think it's a very good concoction actually. To be able to see opportunities where there are risks. And the fact that I'm an entrepreneur and I expose myself in all these spaces, it gives me a different perspective to things. Like whereas my legal mind would say, don't do this because it contravenes regulation. My entrepreneurship mind says, do this because innovation is ahead of regulation. You understand what I mean? Like if lawyers were the ones to decide whether Uber takes off or not, it would probably have never taken off. Definitely. If lawyers were to decide whether Facebook was to take off, it would never, because it would be like privacy, data protection. a lot of things.
Price
controls and this, and liability and all those issues that surround some of these innovations. But if it was a lawyer who's also having one side, like practicing at the intersection of law and innovation, then they'll give the best advice. Tell this client, there's this risk, but there's also this opportunity. So I feel that's how I've been approaching my thing. How my colleagues view me, colleagues know me. Sometimes they know me as a tech star, sometimes they know me as the black sheep who doesn't sometimes conform to what
industry
norms. But by and large, I think I've carved my space, and I think I earn my respect as I do my thing.
You really earned your stripes.
I
think you've mentioned that issue of a lawyer, understanding a problem that is tied to the law. And I remember there's this guy called Peter Thiel. I think he did law, if I'm not wrong, and then he found his way into entrepreneurship, and he's been in the mix of many tech innovations. So that quite cuts it. Maybe on Patafile, how do you see the product evolving? You're now at 100 plus or almost there customers, which are law firms. You're solving an actual problem around efficiency in the law practice. So you already have proof of concept, you have paying customers. What's next?
I think it's to step on the gas and grow, so there's a lot of opportunities that are coming in because of AI. There's a lot of opportunities that are coming in because the judiciary has gone digital. There's a lot of opportunities that are coming in because lawyers are now becoming tech. They're appreciating tech, less tech averse. So how I'm seeing it is having those integrations, especially the judiciary, which is now where a lot of legal stuff happens. It's now happening online. So integrating with that, looking in on the direction of AI and see how we can plug AI in and see how we can take it to the East African market, perhaps the African market, and beyond. So that's how I'm doing it, and it's very, very possible because the team we have is very innovative and ahead of the game.
So there's I guess opportunities to have different value chains in the law, because right now it's law firms, but then you have to maybe have back channels to judiciary now that they're digitizing. I'm assuming even government records would come in there, and probably even clients on the sort of end can also have such plugins. Maybe just your general view also on legal tech or reg tech, whatever. Are there sort of spaces that are still unexplored, not just as a Patafile issue, but just ecosystem-wide?
Generally, as a legal tech.
Yes.
I still feel there's so much that needs to be that tech can solve. As I say, the AI, we're in the business of drafting. So if there's generative AI, how can we use that generative AI, use the entire data that's there, to give solutions? The case laws are decisions of judges from way back. That is something that I believe AI can look into in a few seconds and tell you this is the direction that this case would go. Why don't we have those solutions? There's now that it's going online and the decisions are being made. We can root out corrupt judges by just saying why are your determination inconsistent with whatever the precedent is there.
Almost like an audit.
Yes,
tool.
There we can have an audit tool.
Judicial decision.
Because right now one of the biggest problems I'll tell you is there is no certainty in terms of the decisions that are coming from our courts. They are trying. I wouldn't want to cast aspersions because they are judges and magistrates, but there are few of them that are corrupt, and a decision which ought to go this way because the precedent says that that's how it's supposed to go ends up going this way because someone amefunguliwa briefcase. So with such tools, then you will be called out. If a decision is supposed to go 90% this way, then you'll have to answer why it's going the other way. So there's a lot. There's a lot of things that can be done in the tech space. It's just that we do not have the resources to deploy
everyone.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then I guess this is just, we are only, for context, we're just talking about Kenya, but this could even
this can go worldwide. All you need to do is just feed the data set in each country and plug and play.
I would even argue like what fintech has done. There are fintechs that are in 6-7 countries in Africa, so they already have consumer data from, and I would argue if you do the same for the law profession, you could expand exponentially. Let's go to the second one. So this mobile Sokoni e-commerce. How did that start? and is it something that came after Patafile in terms of just
the timeline? I think they came almost at the same time. Because I met my partner in Patafile in Strathmore. So when I started law, when I was doing pupillage, I discovered the inefficiencies in the law firm. Pulled him in, I told him, let's do this. Then at the same time, a few friends of mine came and they're like, we have a tech guy. He's looking for an idea we can do. I'm like, I've been thinking about this e-commerce. That was in 2015. The e-commerce space in Kenya hadn't even taken off. And then we came up with MOBA. MOBA was a mobile bar. So it was a place to buy drinks. MOBA took off, did so well in the market actually. And then I exited at some point after it had stabilized. A friend of mine, I kind of exited from that arrangement. But I've still pursued e-commerce in another startup called Sokoni, which is basically community e-commerce. So like a community of lawyers, we set shops for them that they can buy things which they find useful. So like maybe books, legal books, maybe laundry services, because lawyers wear a lot of suits. Maybe we cherry pick those services that serve them, and then they're in one portal where all of them can come together and purchase from multiple shops at once.
So the community, is it you're aligning the community interests based on my career, or is it geography?
Any community. It can be we've set up a community. We set up a community of a neighborhood, which would mean that the shops in that neighborhood can be hosted there. So you can have a supermarket, a butchery, a liquor store, but because you're in that community, you purchase from them. It can be a community of builders, of people who want to build. So you have a shop for tiles, you have a shop for mabati, you have a shop for cement, you have a shop for misumaris, you have a shop for all these things because you're building. It can be a community for lawyers, and that's the example I used earlier. So that's the community commercial.
How has been the reception in the market for that?
The reception, I can say, has been good. There's someone who wants to do match this. So for me, I like innovating, getting someone who has the muscle to run with it.
Like you want to sort of create the idea and then find an operator.
Create the idea, build it, because I believe I have very unique product building skills. Like the process of building a tech product from inception to it getting out of the market is a very rigorous and very chaotic process. You need managing developers, pinpointing exactly what you need to come out of that product. So this process, that's why many Kenyans have ideas, but a lot of them never see the light of day because this process is usually hectic. So after I go through this process, I bring forth a product. I prefer that now someone else, because by the time I'm getting to this point, I'm burnt out. So I prefer someone else comes in and runs with it. So for Sokoni, that's the case. Someone who's coming in to run with it. But we have a partnership with the Absa Bank. We had a partnership with the LSK Nairobi branch to curate the communities for their respective members. So that's how I look at it.
So I guess the distribution model would be you have a gateway through an institution that has enough aggregate.
Yes.
It could be a big corporate.
Yeah, big corporate, so that guys can be making group orders. So whereas you would say buy a box of what? A box of unga.
Yeah.
A box of unga. While you buy a single piece of unga, say at 200, you guys as a community can buy a box directly from the manufacturer at a discounted price. So there's savings for everyone. Yeah.
And then what happens for now delivery? Do you partner them with the Uber drives or like all these other logistics?
You see, because it's delivered at one centrally.
Okay.
Then even if we charge a small amount from each person who's making a purchase, there is still a lot more left. Yeah, because it's being delivered at one place.
Got it. And then maybe from your experience with running e-commerce, and you mentioned a very interesting point on the product building.
Yeah.
How is are there certain like ways of product building that are pretty cutting across? For example, what you did in Patafile and now with Sokoni and MOBA. Are there things that are sort of you seeing sort of
a general trend?
Yeah, general trend in terms of how someone should think about building products.
Yeah, you should just be present. A developer is just there to deliver your product. The developer might not necessarily see your vision. The developer might not necessarily pay attention to the aesthetics of what you want. The developer might not know your audience. You understand? So it's basically you knowing, okay, this product needs to appeal to this kind of audience. This kind of audience is sophisticated to this level. So I need you to build this product so that when this kind of audience sees, then it's a no-brainer for them. You know, otherwise developers watakubuildia tu madogodani pale, and then the audience doesn't quite. There are so many products that do the same thing, but the reception is different. Yeah. So that's your job. And if you just come out, you are a set of developers, shikeni pesa hii nitengenezeni, and you're not. I can show you the number of screenshots with markings that I have had to do over the course of a product being built. Almost thousands. Ile tutoa hii button hapa, ifai kwa hapa, mbona umeimplementi, huyu mse akitaka kufanya hivi atafanyaje hivi, you understand? So if you are an entrepreneur who wants to participate in the tech space, you have to be present, and it's an excruciating process. It's not a simple process.
It's not a job if you want people to like you, I guess.
Yeah, because you will tell a developer just one thing that would mean he redoes the whole code in the back end. You're telling like, okay, so this is the user, okay? For instance, I'll give you an example. Say a Linkup. This is the user. I'll talk about it, but I'm just giving an example. I'll break it down. The user has gifted. Okay, hana pesa. He needs to load his wallet so that he's able to gift another attendee. So he needs to be directed to the wallet place. But after paying kwa wallet, he needs to come back to kwenye alikuwa. Otherwise it kills the experience. Then kama developer hakukuwa ameimplement hiyo in the back end, he won't be happy with you. But that's logic. If he hadn't seen the logic, that's his problem. He needs to make it happen. So that's the kind of.
So you say presence. Is there anything else that?
Presence. Yeah. But also understanding.
Okay.
Understanding what is capable, and then you need to do research on your own. There are some things you tell the developer, do this. He gives you all the limitations as to why it can't be done, and it's because he had to attack a job.
He wants the
easy way out. Yeah. But if you are informed, you will tell him, look, imefanywa.
I've done my research.
I've done this and this. Yes, imefanywa. Yeah. Sometimes words don't communicate how exactly you want that product to appear. So you need to tell him Yeah, I want it to look exactly like this.
Yeah.
So if you are a laid back product, I don't know, developer, builder,
yeah,
you won't be able to achieve the results that are supposed to be achieved. Yeah. So you need to presence, you need knowledge, you need to know what's possible. You need to know what has advanced.
Interesting.
You understand? Yeah.
Wow. So now with Sokoni, you found an operator.
Yeah.
So what next? Is it going the corporate routes, looking at institutions and then iterating communities around that? Is it more on marketing?
So for him, it's he wants a lot of marketing to go into it. So once the name is out there and the name is big enough, then now he can now curate the different communities. Because the e-commerce space again in Kenya, people only trust big expenditure. Like if you've started your e-commerce somewhere, unless it's localized, people tend to think you won't give us the best experience that like.
Someone would assume if I'm not buying a phone or a TV on I don't know, Amazon or wherever.
Yeah.
I cannot buy my 1 kg, 2 kg. I don't know, grocery. And still get the same value because of either costs. Or just,
Okay. So you need to go ham on marketing. They need to see those billboards. They need to see things on Facebook and Instagram. Then they know, these guys have a serious brand. Then they trust you. So if you're looking at innovating in the e-commerce space, unless it's a very unique, segmented niche, that has been proven to be the route. You come big. So that's exactly how we're thinking. He's looking at pushing with that agenda.
So I assume for Sokoni, it is more of a usage, a commission based on the transaction, and then I'm assuming for Patafile, it's more of a subscription kind of model.
Absolutely. So for Sokoni, it's very versatile. We have a model where we can be getting profits. If we are dealing directly with the manufacturers, we have a model where guys can just be buying, we get the commission. Those are the models.
And then now that you've mentioned these two, I'm already seeing a thread. Now with Link, I want you to bring Linkup.
Okay.
Because now you've built a community. In Sokoni.
Yes.
Community based on.
In fact, this Linkup and Sokoni came first. I was building a community, and then I realized. No, sorry. Linkup came first. I was building a community for attendees, like for attendees.
In say a conference.
In a conference, in a workshop. And then I was like, even in this community, there can be an e-commerce plug where say the exhibitors can have a shop. So the attendees can go say buy books, see what books they have, and see their entire catalog. Then I was like, we need to incorporate it here. Then, so I was chatting with a friend, and he was like, there are people who just want to buy. They don't want to be in a community where wanasumbuliwa, hi, how are you doing now? They just want to buy or stuff and wasepe. So we were like, then let's have a community that is just separate for commerce. Haina hii story ya kwa networking, new groups, nini. Then now that's why Sokoni was born. Now with Linkup, we still have a place where you can now post the link Sokoni. So if there's an event that has vendors that needs to be selling stuff, we can set them up on Sokoni, put that link on Linkup.
So for example, if let's say it's I don't know.
You have not explained what Linkup is.
Food conference. You are doing a food conference. Everyone in agriculture is there. You could easily say, hey guys, there's Sokoni that helps you with your groceries, etc. Check this out. And that community that is very interested in agriculture, in food security, in all that, can easily find value.
No, it can be this. If there's an agriculture conference and the vendors are food vendors, so for that conference we can set up this vendors,
yeah.
so that the attendees can purchase whatever it is that they are purchasing from these vendors before, during, and even after.
Yeah.
So you can have like your community of vendors. So say you organize a flea market every 3 months. Then outside just you having the physical one, you can have your own community of people who are attracted to the brand of your flea market, but the individual shops capable of now selling to people and doing their deliveries, and managing their entire line of commerce.
Now I have a question on layering now these two apps. So even just, I'm sure there are people out there, they are similar to you, they're running different products, and there's always the risk of people saying, I will kill, maybe I will push the e-commerce bit too far, and there are people who come there for the fun.
Yeah.
How do you manage? I would assume that the same community has different priorities.
Yeah.
Right? I just want to come for a food conference.
Yeah.
But now how do you manage the experience to make sure it's not you are not overselling? You get what I mean?
But that's exactly what led to the split.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so like Sokoni is a standalone community, but based on commerce. Like when ukiingia kwa hiyo community, hauoni watu, unaona shop, unaona sasa kama ni shop, kama ni Unilever, Chandaria, the storefront, ukiingia unaona products zao, how interact na anyone, wewe unanunua products, una check out. You can buy from multiple shops, they are consolidated in one cart, and then you check out as one. So huko hakuna watu. Kwa Linkup sasa kuna watu, ni conference. Okay? Watu wameingia, wamesign up, wamesema sasa kama wewe you're a financial analyst, mimi I'm a lawyer, these guys they're in content creation. So when you swipe, you're seeing the different profiles, and you can DM them. There are group chats, you can have conversations there. You can see the speakers. But on top of that, kwa resources tab, you can put ile link ya community yenye it's hosted kwa Sokoni pale. Such that, for instance, if it's a conference conference ya food. Umependa food sana bro. Conference ya food.
It's lunchtime.
So kama ni conference ya food. Na kuna wasee wanauza hizo zinaitwaje zile chemicals, zile fertilizer na nini tena hizo equipment na nini za kutengeneza food, ama even the food itself. They can be set up in that community. So these people who are attending the conference, wakiingia kwa ile link, all they see ni sasa, okay, hao wanauza fertilizer, prices zao ni gani na wanauza nini. You understand? Hivyo.
Got it. So maybe on your now this phase for Linkup.
Yeah. You know, I've not even explained what Linkup is.
Yes, maybe
we just eased our way in.
Explain the product. Where you are.
Okay.
What you've learned so far.
Okay. So Linkup is an event networking platform. Our tagline is life-changing connections. So basically we're selling serendipity. Serendipity is ile unaenda mahali haujui watu, but you stumble upon something great, and you know. So umeenda kwa conference, umeona watu umeona watu maybe 1,000 people.
Yeah.
It's humanly impossible for you to be able to network with all of them.
Yeah.
So Linkup gives you that platform so that you're able to network and connect with these people. But on top of that, there's another problem that is experienced at events. The main acts usually are the center of attraction for everyone. So kama nika speaker, everyone wants to throng in, the panelists, the moderator. They want to have access to these people.
Yeah.
But unapata, these people are not willing to give themselves to everyone because they'll be overwhelmed. 1,000 people, if I'm a speaker, I wouldn't want to accommodate everyone. So now that's where Linkup comes in. Now Linkup incentivizes the access. So ukikuwa kwa app, huyu speaker message yake itakuwa, hiyo message button yake itakuwa deactivated. Ukilipa ka kitu inafunguka. The speaker now has you have now direct link with the speaker, have conversations. On top of that, the speakers get gifted. Think of TikTok, how it does its thing. Now Linkup, speaker amecome through, amepatiana content fresh, umebambika, you gift them. Ka clap 50 bob, ka standing ovation, ka so, ka handshake, ka so mbili, ka microphone 500. You know, you understand? Speaker kutoka kwa hiyo event, ukiangalia wallet yake, akona ka kitu. I hope speaking sharing.
No, it's fine. Yeah, no, that's your audience, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so akitoka kwa meeting, akona 5,000. Ina fuel gari yake, amekuwa useful. Because again, look at it this way. The speaker had a chance of not turning up.
Yeah.
Or he had a chance of turning up and not being useful.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is you're pushing people also. We're incentivizing them to give their all. Okay? And then it's also not just for speakers. Even the attendees in our app. Mtu ulize swali, umjibu vifiti, something useful, pige gift pale, clap. So unapata comment yako ndani ya app yetu yenye ni useful, ime attract 10 claps. Uko na kasoka kwa 5.
You know what you're reminding me is the issue of WhatsApp. The way during your birthday you get so many virtual cakes.
Yeah, virtual cakes, but they don't mean nothing.
Thumbs up, but they don't
mean nothing.
They're still as broke as
yes, yeah.
So I guess from your end you're trying to monetize the value, the
yes.
intangible value that these either experts in a conversation or panel or
yes.
even the audience are bringing to this workshop, this conference, which is what everyone really has been looking for.
Yes.
Yeah,
because you can be an attendee, but you're an expert in your own right, or you have your own perspective that when you share, people appreciate.
Yeah.
So ukishare hivyo, wasiwa kuchangamkie, au sio?
Yeah.
Wasiwa kuchangamkie.
Yeah, interesting. What's been your learning so far? I know you've done
we've done
events. Maybe just mention
so these features, part of them were things that we were planning. But now we've tested. We've not rolled them out, especially the gifting one, the expressway. We've not rolled them out. We'll be rolling them out in the next few coming months. But it's exactly what's needed to disrupt the space. So we've done the AI conference at Sarit Center. We've done the 40 under 40 at Tradition Blue. We did an LSK event at Tradition Blue. We did another one, the Creators Conference at Chandaria Hall, University of Nairobi. We're doing another one, Thames Africa Conference at Sarit Bado. We did another one, a networking event at Wojo Makua, Upper Hill. So what we've learned is people want to connect. And that's a solution we've given them. And they're enjoying. But we feel now once we inject these other features that we're working on, then I think that it's going to be even more interesting. Yeah.
So I guess for now, you sort of MVP1. You've now tested it with a couple of events, audiences. Now you're perfecting it to sort of a monetization model.
Yeah.
What do you see are other untouched spaces in terms of building communities, either with Linkup or general?
Just from Linkup, people are telling us, you need to build communities. You need to build an app that is a community. See, for Linkup, it's for events.
Yeah.
But guys just want our set of people. We are in a place.
Yeah.
Where we know I can go and scroll and see who's there in a way that's friendly, in a way that is more, user friendly, basically. So there is that, but there's a lot that in communities. There's a lot that kuna vitu kama za kuboro peer to peer lending within the community. Kuna tu vitu mingi sana zenye bado haziko tapped kwa communities.
Maybe what's your what's your view on now, particularly now on the human connections? Because now we have so many apps that cater for corporates, like, you know, maybe LinkedIn is a professional app.
Yeah.
You know, you have done Linkup on events.
Yeah.
But it seems I think here in Africa we've tried to rely on for the social ones like Tinders. They don't work.
Yeah.
The only social business apps that are working, you know, are the Ubers and I don't know, because they are around basic needs. But now for specific around human interaction, how do you see you know, you as a creator supporting that, maybe with Linkup?
I think the reason as to why Africans, and I think generally people have not been innovating around connecting people, is because the guys who did it so well. So the Facebooks, they've done it so well. The WhatsApps, they've done it so well.
Yeah.
The Instagrams, they've done it so well.
Then we thought everything has been covered. Yeah.
But if you figure out another angle to connecting people, you wanna hit TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok came after all these boys, big boys, and it's still having its own niche because it's eating their lunch. It has figured out how they'll be connecting people. When Google came, people thought that Google is everything. Now ChatGPT has come in, and Google searches have gone down, dwindled.
I realized there was when I think the last version of ChatGPT was launched. People stopped using. There was a good segment of the market that stopped using Google as the search. They went to
people are now searching on ChatGPT because Google will give you a lot of noise.
Even now, search is happening on TikTok, actually. So it's a very interesting disruption.
So innovation haishangi. Like Mungu ye mwenyewe, God, huwa anatupatia tu ni kama tu mahindi moja cha. After 10 years cha from 19 zuko. Vitu zimekuwa tu zikiinnovatiwa, and you think this is the next big thing, and you think but they'll still be the next new thing. So hiyo fatigue ya kusema kina WhatsApp carry the day, kina Facebook carry the day is what has lagged that space. But you can find a use case yenye those guys have still not figured out, and you do it so well, and it works for you.
Interesting. Then my other question would be on now the how do I put it? On connecting people. We have this physical environment of you know, we meet in conferences. How do we transfer it now to the virtual
environment?
Example.
I think nothing beats physical environment, really. The virtual environment comes with its own benefits. You can access things remotely. You can, you know, it's more accommodative of different people's schedules. But really nothing beats the physical environment. But for us as Linkup, I think we're bridging both. You know, we're even looking at TV. Like, umeleta panelist pale. Kabla watu wakuje, watu walisha login. Panelists and do their thing depending on how useful they are. You know, you can have your webinar before the actual webinar happens. We host you. Because what we've realized is the constraint of time for that event to happen. Jana I was a panelist kwa hiyo event ya Safaricom na Mest na kina TikTok, the creators, whatever. I was a panelist, we were with some whatever, but I was a legal guy. And the time that we were given, even though we were allocated, we were four panelists. The time you were allocated, you can't even cover a quarter of the staff.
You can't scratch the surface.
The surface. You can't scratch the surface. A quarter of the stuff that people need to hear. Talking about trademarks, copyrights, you know, all those things that affect content creators. But the time is so limited. Now with our solution, it expands that time. That time can be expanded before the event actually happens and after the event. The content that I would possibly share at the event that I couldn't share, I can now easily share it in the community, in our app. So that's sorry, we're expanding that time. So whether it's online or it's physical, the expansion can still happen, and that's why I feel our solution is still useful.
Yeah, that's helpful. So now the other question would be, you mentioned your stint in pilots in aviation, and you said you're exploring opportunities in supporting aviation law. Maybe I know the young lawyers would listen to this, and people are always looking at what should I spend my time on. Maybe are there opportunities there that should be gaps that can be explored either from a legal or innovator's point of
perspective. What I've come to learn as a lawyer is we have the unique ability to actually never know how that learned phrase came into play. But I want to believe it's because we're exposed to many different scenarios. Lawyers have the unique ability to immerse themselves in a subject matter and become experts very quickly. They might not be experts of the doing because maybe it requires technical skills, but experts of the understanding of the mechanics that go into that particular space. So any person can actually be in any legal space. All you'll need to do is invest a lot of time in that space. So come on, you want to get into the aviation space, let's invest time into fast reading, interest in understanding that space, whether it's aircraft themselves, the engineering side, ground handling, and all that kind of regulations and stuff. Attend stakeholder meetings, basically being there for a considerable amount of time. That is what usually locks people out. You're interested in a particular area of practice, but you can't invest.
It still goes back to the issue of presence.
Yes, presence. If you're not present, business is presence. If you're not there, then you can't build the requisite expertise, you can't build the requisite know-how, skills, connections. Then there's only so far you can go. But anyone, especially lawyers, anyone has the ability to. You can be in the aviation space, you can be in the marine space, you can be in the environment space, climate change, procurement, tax. You just need to say, this is the area I want to go into, invest time and learning.
Politics, where did it start?
Politics,
I know you did something in campus, and then now
after that. So politics for me, I think it comes so naturally to me. It's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You understand what I mean? Like I've always found myself in spaces where people say, hey, this guy can actually do that for us. In high school, in primary school, I was a prefect somewhere. In high school, I was a captain somewhere. In campus, University of Nairobi, I was the campus governor, like the campus president in some days. So I've just found myself in situations where people say, hey, I think this guy can do it. So I ran with it. Then I tried out hiyo sasa ya county. Maji ilikuwa marefu kidogo.
What did you learn if you are to advise
people
yourself
again? Okay, so if you're to vie for speaker of a county, because the guys who vote there are the MCAs of the local county. You need to first be in very good terms with the governor.
Oh, interesting.
The governor that has been elected. The incumbent, the sitting governor.
The problem is I think the elections just happened shortly after they are sworn.
Yes.
So you don't even have, even the governor, you might not know them until, I don't know, 2-3 months.
No.
Or is it, how does it work?
The election happens after the governor has already been elected. So there's a new governor.
So you might even don't know who would be the governor when you are planning your...
Yes, you might not know who will be the governor when you are planning your whatever.
Your campaign.
But you plan from the end to the beginning. You don't plan from the beginning. So if you approach MCAs, you're approaching MCAs when they are campaigning.
You're not their priority at that time.
At that time, you're not their priority. So this is how it's a very funny being speaker is a very funny game that I learned. You need approach those MCAs wakivai. Sababu hiyo time bado hajapata kiti. Na mtupia ka 5k pale, hii ni kusukuma campaign yako nini.
You almost
you make friendship.
Support their campaign.
But whilst you're doing that, you also unapiga hesabu ya governor, ni nani atakuwa governor. Na akona chances kivipi. You can even double play them. Enda kwa governor mpatie 500k na huyu mwingine pia mpatie 400k, wasijue tu. Ambeba na sasa mimi na habari campaign.
You don't become partisan.
You don't become partisan. Okay. You don't become partisan. But you invest in a way that the governor trusts you, which is very difficult because they are opposing.
Even when you'll be in the seat, they want to see like you'll be someone who is
who won't interfere with their interests. Yeah. But now it's difficult because at the point, by the time the governor is elected, if you're not in good terms with them, you're already way too late. Because the governor in his camp akona watu ambao wako na interest na hiyo kiti. And maybe wako na the qualifications, maybe they are mawakilis and all that. So if you're not in that room, you're already too late. So what's difficult in making it happen? There are two parties. Party A and Party B wana fightia governor. You need to be in good books with both of them. Yet wana fight. See how difficult that wanna fight. So you just need to figure out how to. But while doing that, huku MCAs pia unawashughulikia. Haya, governor akishaingia, you also need to assess, ujue huyo mtu am I his priority ama kuna mtu mwingine. Because at the time maybe alishaekea mtu mwingine mkono akasema huyu ndo nitapatia.
And then also there's kuna this politics around if it's a constituency or let's say a county, the governor came from this constituency or this tribe, and then the speaker has
to be from this tribe.
It doesn't matter whether they're qualified or not. You know, we have to find some.
No, negotiated. No, it's encouraged actually. It's encouraged. Negotiated democracy is encouraged because everyone wants to feel part and parcel, included. Yeah. So me encourage. Kama governor ametoka kwa tribe fulani ama clan fulani, senator kama anaweza toka kwa clan nyingine, speaker toke kwa clan nyingine. Because you would say
I saw it growing up in Mombasa. You have like governor is Muslim, this one is Christian, this one is this tribe, this constituency. So there's a bit of like
there's a mix up
balance.
It helps. Because I don't believe like a competence aiko kwa each of those constituents. It's just identifying those people and them being willing to participate. But if you're looking for someone who's qualified in a particular clan, utapata. You will get. So it's always encouraged that you come up with those formulas. But formula as speaker ni hiyo.
Maybe what would you say for, because politics can be very almost heartbreaking. What kind of guardrails should I have?
So for politics,
your family is exposed. There's so much things
for like politics for you to enjoy.
And the parks, the money, and the gruesome campaigns. What should I also protect myself against?
So for politics, first it needs to be a long-term game. It's a marathon. Politics is not a sprint. So if you're looking into getting into it, uingie, upate power na nini, that's a wrong game for you. Politics can be that mimi I'm aiming in 15 years ndo nipate kiti. Okay? So I'm just putting things in place in the right way, though by then niko pale. Another thing, politics is a game. It's a game of wit. Hakuna ma feelings na manini. Yule mzee mwenye nimeshindana naye leo, like me in my speaker race, one of the contestants is a person we've done a transaction with, a very nice transaction with. And it's because I was like, ile ilikuwa maneno ingine.
So the ability to take it personal.
You need to have that ability. It's a game of
which is something our Kenyan, like the people voting, we don't have.
You don't have.
We take it personal.
Yes.
I am the president's guy, I am the opposition's
guy. Yeah. They don't because they've understood that this is a game.
It's like a career.
It's a career for them, and for you to survive in politics, again, you need that. The moment you start taking things personal, people now think you're not a politician. You're petty. Yeah. So you need to have that, and then also try and not use your money and resources. So again, it's difficult because starting out, nobody's going to give you money if they don't see the traction that you're pulling in. So again, it's a balance. Ensure that pesa inatoka.
How you mobilize resources.
Yes, and then also
don't put your family at risk.
And then always think the decisions that you're making. Always think what will happen after politics. Yeah. After politics, how will things look like? So if it's issues to do with protecting your family, ensure that the safeguards. How will I live my life? Will I be comfortable? Those are things. If it's the friendships you've made or the enemies you've made, can you live with them after that? So once, I think also, my 2 cents, I'm not a qualified politician, but I would say that's how, from my reading and from the little attempts here and there that I have managed to get in politics.
My other question would be, how is it that there's certain profession, I don't know, maybe it's because politics has to do with the parliament and laws, like professions like lawyers, it's sort of
easy for them.
A step in the right, like it's almost like this is a stepping stone. It's easy for you to, rather than, if I was an architect or an engineer.
Because lawyers are in the business of dealing with people. And dealing with problems. And dealing with regulations and law. Politics is about leadership. Leadership is basically about order and progress. Okay, so order and progress. On the order side, lawyers have already taken half of it. So now what's left? What's left is the progress bit. And you see, the people who actually beat lawyers are the ones who can do well the progress side. So, but if a lawyer can bring the progress side and combine it with the order side, I go already above 50% in.
5-10 years from now, what does success look like
for me?
And where do you want to see yourself?
5-10 years from now, I'd love.
It's not a long time.
It's not a long time. I'd love to have a stable family. I want to have just a stable family. Maybe taking this law firm to the next level. Have a team that is, learning, growing as they input. Maybe disrupted that event space that we are on to, and maybe now giving back to other people who also want to join either the legal profession or the entrepreneurship side of things. But generally being happy. I just want to be happy, no matter what stage I will be at. I just want to be happy. I can eat. I can do my things in peace. Not looking over my back.
Have a simple life,
Just
but still have
simple life, but nice, enjoyable life.
Interesting. Wow, thank you for this. We've covered a lot,
but we've not covered even the law, man.
Wow. We should do it later.
No problem.
I'm sure we'll cover. I think next time we'll try to focus on you as a lawyer. And I know there's a lot there to unpack. I think the entrepreneurship and the politics took, and which is good. I think there's a lot of learning.
But law is actually my day to day. My day to day. What I do every day.
Bread and butter.
My bread and butter. I go to court. So there's a lot there. There's actually a lot there that we can discuss. I just didn't know.
Because you're right. Because I saw in your team you've mentioned there's I think you are the person who handles the dispute part of the business. So I'm sure there's a lot there to unpack, and we'll follow it up as well.
No problem.
All right.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's a humbling experience. I'm honored to be here, man.
Yeah. Thank you, and thank you for having us, and we look forward to having a part 2 on this.